This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Welcome back to this edition of Here's to Your Health. And now your host, personal fitness trainer, Andy Harlan.
Thank you, Josh. I'm Andy Harlan, your host for this segment of Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live, the future of radio. And I'm with Matteo Baker, owner of 220 Fitness in Santa Monica. And I've had him on before. Let's see if we could follow that Franco Colombo act.
Yeah, right.
Matteo. But let's talk a little bit more about your gym and the new style of fitness training you guys incorporated in your new facility.
Yeah, absolutely. As we spoke about last time, is that we're a new fitness facility that specializes in personal training and group fitness. We have over 70 classes a week, and what's really unique about it is just the diversification of the type of classes we have. Since we're only it's just that gym for now, it's our first gym, I'm able to kind of move with the times pretty fast, and so we'll try to get the latest, greatest trends out there and introduce them, and we've really been successful so far. For example, we'll have a class that was just on Shark Tank recently, and Mark Cuban invested in it, a class called Surf Set, where you're actually on surfboards on Bosu balls in a classroom. Just recently, we've had a lot of PR with it. Channel 7 News was out 2 weeks ago, but it's a great core workout. I'm not sure that it gets you ready for the waves per se, but it does help on a lot of balance. Like I said, core. That's kind of exciting. So then we have that, and then we'll go to a cycling class, to a full-fledged boxing academy, where with a friend of ours, Richard Salgado, who's trained James Toney, 8-time world champion. He's one of our coaches there. 12 classes a week with that. We do just all kinds of different all-terrain classes out back where you're flipping tires, rope swings. We do the other class. It's pretty funky. It's called Kangoo, where you're on these kind of goofy-looking bouncy shoes that you meet an instructor at the gym, and then we get you strapped in these boots, and we take you down to the boardwalk, and you run on the boardwalk in the nice, beautiful sun, and it's pretty fun. It's these shoes were built to absorb all the impact when you're running. It was designed by a marathon runner who blew out his knees, and so there's really low impact on your back and your knees. So we do classes like that. We have another class called Gravity, which are these machines that are, I guess the only way to explain it is similar to a Pilates machine, but you're using your own body weight and with these pulley systems to pull it. But
that's a kinetic machine?
Yeah.
The wall that you have there?
That's actually separate. That's a kinesis wall made by Techno Gym. That's an interesting machine as well, because it was designed in Italy. Speaking of Franco, it was designed in Italy and right next door to the Ferrari factory. And so some of the same engineers from Ferrari helped design this wall, but it's great for it's more natural movement, functional training, which is kind of the trend. We following Franco, which is kind of ironic, but from a little bit more of a bodybuilding old style to a little bit more of the new, which is more functional. So let's say you're a golfer or you're somebody that just likes to play tennis. This might be a little bit more for you as opposed to bodybuilding.
Well, what do you think with the trend changing towards these kind of different exercises and fitness programs? Do you still think there's a place for bodybuilding in weight training at this point?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think that there always will be a little subdivision of working out that'll be bodybuilding. There'll always be that fascination, and I know, to me to this day, I'm still, I was kind of starstruck meeting Franco. I thought that was really interesting. I mean, but I think that for the regular person, it's a bit ambitious to think that you're going to be able to work out all day and eat as much as you need to eat, and all the things that you'd have to do to bodybuilding. And not to mention that, when you get a bit older, it's a little bit harder on your joints and things like that. So I think that people nowadays want to do things, and what we're trying to do is that make it a little bit more where it's kind of an enjoyable, it's fun. Make the fitness journey a little bit more kind of exciting and something new, And I think that's what we want to do. We like to shake it up a little bit. You can do yoga one day, and the next day you're doing cycling. Next day you're doing boxing. I mean, just kind of shake it up a little bit. I think it makes it more interesting.
I agree, and I think that the core training and some of these classes that you teach over at your place are very good, especially for the average function of your body, for sports and good for athletes and whatnot. And as we said, as Franco said, as you get older, you do have to slow down and change your way of training,
Right.
warm up and take care of your joints and tendons, which age quicker than your muscles, which is actually true. But with the bodybuilding, the weight training, it gives you a good look. So my theory is, as a trainer, I like to combine the core training and that kind of stuff with bodybuilding, because then you're a functioning athlete, but you also look good.
That's right.
So I mean, I think that some of these things, people go overboard with some of this core training. They get a very thick midsection, which is strong. They're stalwart. They're not going to be knocked over, but they're not going to win a beauty contest either at the same time. But that's to each his own. You train the way you want to, and if you feel great, then keep doing what you're doing. Another topic, we were talking about boxing.
Yeah.
What about the Klitschko's?
Yeah, that's a kind of an interesting story. I have a lot of not only respect for him, but I owe a lot to both the brothers, because Vladimir is the one that inspired me and motivated me and got me out of my comfort zone and got me to kind of do something on my own. It's a funny story because brings us back to Gold's, what we talked about earlier with Franco. As he started there in the early 70s or early 60s. But when I was a manager of Gold's for a while, and I was always not only I kind of did a little amateur boxing, as you know, just a gym boxer, and I heard that when I was managing the gym, and I heard that the Klitschko's were coming to town. Actually, Vitaly Klitschko, who was fighting for the heavyweight championship of the world, he was going to be coming to town, and he wanted to come to the gym, and they asked me if I wouldn't mind showing him around and everything, and I was super excited about it because I was into boxing pretty heavy, and they said he was going to be coming to town, and I couldn't wait to meet him, and he finally comes to the gym with all these huge Ukrainian guys and all these 6'7" guys walking.
Well, explain who these guys are to the audience. I'm not sure if everybody knows who the Klitschko's are.
Yeah,
the two heavyweight fighters from the Ukraine.
Absolutely. You got Vitaly, who's the older brother. He's 5 years older than Vladimir, so that makes him around, I guess, 44, and I think Vladimir's, well, maybe he's 42, and Vladimir's like 37, 38. But they've kind of ran the heavyweight division now for the last 8 to 10 years. They both were heavyweight champions at the same time. Vladimir's still currently the heavyweight champion. Vitaly, he's retired now just recently, and he went into politics over in Ukraine, which we know is kind of tough right now. What's going on over there? But so he went into politics, but he was the champion first, and then his brother, that was their goal, to be champions at the same time. And then Vitaly retired recently, and then Vladimir's still the current heavyweight champion of the world. And so that's the story of who these guys are. And then to finish the story, when they were coming to meet me, coming to the gym to see Gold's, I was going to tour Vitaly around. And he got there that day, and I remember I was super excited to meet the heavyweight champ, but he was more excited to meet me because he wanted to see the place where Arnold and Colombo, where these guys got their start, and I would want to hear stories about him, but he wanted to hear more stories about me, and it was really funny, and he was just a real genuine good guy, just a great person. And he told me after the tour, and we talked for a while, he's like, Matteo, I'm in a couple weeks. It was a couple weeks or a month. He's like, I want to invite you to one of my fights. And I was like, oh, you don't have to do that, but thank you so much. And he was like, no. You're going to be my guest. And I said, okay, sure. I'm excited about that. Well, a couple weeks went by. I kind of forgot about it. I didn't hear anything from. I didn't see him or any of his people, so I figured, that's not going to happen. The night before the fight, these huge Russian guys in a limo show up out front, and they come in and they said, "We're here to see Matteo." I was scared. I forgot what it was about. And these two big guys were wanting to see me. I was like, I don't know what this is all about. And anyway, he handed me a bunch of tickets to go see us fight, and they weren't just tickets. They, sit down. It was ringside seats, and that kind of began a little bit of the journey with the friendship amongst the brothers. Vitaly was married, and has family and stuff. So he was like, I think that you're really going to get along with my younger brother when he comes down. He's single like you are, and you guys will, around the same age bracket. I think you guys will, have a good time. And so then Vladimir came later, and then we became pretty close friends. And actually, like I said, he was the one that inspired me to kind of get out on my own and start 220 Fitness. As we talked about last time, 220 Fitness is actually an address in New York. I went to New York for a year. That's where Vladimir and I decided that we would open a gym. Was in New York, and I was in Manhattan, and I was there for a year building a business plan, and I found a location. It was on 225th Avenue in the Flatiron District. Hence the name. And it also means second to none, and it also is your maximum heart rate. So we love that name 220, and we designed a logo, and we decided let's go with that. Well, right before I was getting ready to sign the lease on this place on 225th Avenue, a lot of things started happening in Vladimir's career, in his personal life. He had, he as people know, he's with a famous actress, in Hollywood, and their relationship started to build, and he just got really busy, and he was just like, right now is just not a great time for me to start this a gym, but I still want to do it, but another time, and obviously I was in a different position than he was, and I was like, I got to get moving on this. I need to start something right away. And so I just said, I'm going to go back to LA. Obviously we're still good friends and no hard feelings, but I said, I'm just going to start it on my own. I'll downsize the project, and I'll go to Los Angeles and start one on my own.
So at 220, aside from the state-of-the-art training facility you have there and the different kinds of classes you've incorporated and the new style of training that's represented there, you also offer a lot of different health services. You have a spa, right? Explain to me what else you offer.
Yeah, we have a kind of a sports rehab chiro office that incorporates therapeutic exercises, utilizing chiro aids and trainers. We have chiropractic services. We're getting ready to expand the facility where we're going to have kind of outside cabanas. Since we're real close to the beach, we're going to have outside cabanas doing massage services and things like that. But yeah, we believe in total wellness. We have nutritionists on board. We're right now in the midst of bringing on some physical therapists. We just luckily enough, a friend of mine who is a pretty popular lawyer in the West Side is bringing Target in as one of our clients. So we're going to start offering some wellness services for like workers' comp and things like that for a big brand like Target. Where right now we've did a lot of co-promotions with Whole Foods, which we're real proud to be a part of them. They're kind of the modern way of shopping, right?
Of course.
And we just partnered with Nike during the summer, or going into the summer, but just coming out of the fall, we had some did some cross promoting with Nike, and we're working with Reebok on a couple things right now. So yeah, we've been very fortunate thus far with being able to align ourselves with some of these really spectacular companies. As a matter of fact, we just got recognized. It's just 2 weeks ago we were recognized, and we got brought into the city hall to meet with the mayor as the most loved gym in Santa Monica, and so
Great.
Pretty excited about that. That there's some big name brands out there, the big companies, and to be named the most loved gym in Santa Monica was a real honor. Yeah.
So do you find that the members that come in and want to work out with a personal trainer and get in shape, you try to push them to also get that nutritional information from the nutritionist and work with the trainer and the nutritionist at the same time?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, look, Franco's just told us before this show that that how important nutrition can be. He said 60 to 70%, depending on one's metabolism, that's how important nutrition is. And nothing worse than when somebody works out really hard and then is not getting the results that they're expecting. And so if you can do that while you're eating right, obviously you're gonna get your goals much faster, and it's gonna happen that way. So.
Or a lot of people agreeable to that, or do most of them just want to work out and figure that if I work out I'm going to lose weight, and I don't want to change my way of eating. I don't believe in any of that stuff, like red meat's bad for me. I don't think that's true. I don't take any vitamins, and right. I don't want to change my lifestyle. Do you get a lot of that? And
oh yeah, absolutely. And I know as one of the top trainers around that people want the fast way. They a lot of people just think that they can skip steps and nutrition's not that important. And there's a lot of different philosophies out there. Some people want to eat to their blood, towards their blood type. There are people that the vegans and the vegetarians and all this stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of philosophies out there. But I think that what we'll do is we try to find out what somebody's personal interests are. Maybe they have some religious things too. I mean, we'll find out everything about them, and we'll give them all kinds of tests, assessments, and then we'll prescribe after we really understand the individual, and we'll design a specialized program that best suits them.
Yeah. Well, that's when you have a health and fitness facility, it's important to try to cover every angle, obviously. And I said it before when Josh interviewed me, that the average person comes in, they work out, and obviously if they don't even change anything about their lifestyle, they're going to feel better because they were doing nothing prior to working out. But even a person that works out every day for 2 hours a day could still be unhealthy, to some extent, based on what they consume. So I think it's important to, try to instill those beliefs into your clients and your members and let them know that it's more to just coming in and running on the treadmill or lifting weights, that you have to really, change your lifestyle somewhat.
That's right.
I've said it before. It doesn't have to be a complete 180, which is a shock to most people. They're like, whoa, no more red meat, but just to change your eating habits and take some vitamins and take age into consideration, and also your physical well-being is a very important topic when you're working with someone at a health facility.
Yeah, absolutely. It needs to become habitual. I know a guy a long time ago was explaining to me how we all have instilled in our minds about that that you have to brush your teeth. I mean, there's nobody that has to tell you have to do that, right? We just know if we don't do it, we got serious problems going to happen. Well, that kind of has to be the same philosophy that you have to use with training and nutrition. It has to become just a part of your life, and in order to not have future problems. And once you can get over that part and say, okay, I'm just going to commit to it, I'm going to succumb to it, I know that I have to do it. The longer I push it off, the more problems I'm going to have down the road. And then once you start having those problems, then it's really hard to go back. Back problems, or if you get diabetes or heart disease or something like that, then it's really hard to go backwards after that. And I think that a lot of times, and especially that we see in this business, is that people want it after they get in trouble. And so if we can get an early jump on it, we have a chance.
Yeah, well, most people are going to fix what's already broken. They're not going to prevent it from breaking.
Right.
And when we were growing up, you lifted the heaviest weights you could lift, you benched every day, and a lot of these things have helped me gain experience on what not to do with my clients, and how to train my own personal clients.
Yeah.
So I think it's a very important thing to take that into consideration. And on a different topic, let's talk about some of the celebrities and some of the people you've run into, and hear a couple stories, from over at Gold's or down in Venice and Santa Monica.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's definitely been a handful of guys and girls that I've got the opportunity to work out with, and to see on a regular basis, and being tied into that community has been kind of fun. Sometimes, and sometimes it's not as exciting as it appears.
Sometimes
but
too fun.
Yeah, sometimes too fun.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've got to work with, especially in the sports world, in the boxing world, that there's been some guys that have been near and dear to me and good friends. As you know, Mickey Rourke is a very close friend, and And I remember actually he was one of the first guys that when I left Gold's that said, "Hey, come stay with me." And I went to Miami and was with him for a while, and definitely some fun times, and in the health and fitness world, this guy is actually, he knows, he's a smart guy when it comes to his body and knowing what you need to do to get ready for roles and things like that, and he knows how to diet down. The guy can get over 200 pounds down to 170 in a quickness, so but yeah, I think that I've been around a lot of people that are really influential, and that a lot of celebrities.
Who's the best bodybuilder you ever saw?
The best bodybuilder?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know that it's really hard to beat Arnold. I mean, I think that just the genetics of him, just the way his symmetry was just incredible. I don't know, but Franco's in there as well. He was I think Arnold was the predecessor of Franco, right? And I think it's interesting that in 80 Arnold won, and then 81 Franco Columbu won Mr. Universe or Mr. Olympia. So I thought that was pretty good. But as you know from being over there in Venice and Santa Monica, where they're all used to habitate, we'd see a lot of them, and some incredible athletes there.
Yeah, and I've seen some unbelievable athletes down there, and some crazy feats of strength, and some great physical specimens. And it seems that the bodybuilding and fitness world flocks to Santa Monica and Venice. It's obviously the capital of personal training. I think I have a friend named Brad Harris. Brad.
Yeah.
And Brad, he was an actor, also a bodybuilder, and he was a personal trainer. And Brad was telling me that he was one of the original personal trainers back in the day. And he said that when a person came into Gold's Venice and they wanted a trainer, they get on the PA system and say, "Will a personal trainer please come to the front desk?" And Brad said that they would run, and people would actually throw other trainers down to be the first guy at the desk, because the guy that got to the desk first got the first chance at training that person. So I thought that was funny.
That is very interesting.
And Brad's pushing, probably in his late 70s now, but was a phenomenal bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Also, so the boxing, I see you have a lot of boxing classes over at 220. You
Yeah.
know, multiple heavy bags. I see people training in the back, group training, individual training. Is there any sparring going on back there, or is it mainly just, learning how to fight and, getting a good workout?
Yeah, I think it's more about the workout per se. We're more for the common folk more than people that want to turn pro. Or we're more of, we want this to be open to everyone. Our clientele is about 65% women. So, and nobody that's looking to go pro or anything. But we'll give you the coaches are people that, like Rich, that train the 8-time world champ. We've got a guy named Chris Cordone who's had 70 amateur fights. We have another guy who had 12 pro. So we have guys that have been in the ring that are training you. And I think people appreciate that. And I've had other guys before who we've tried, which were more like classes type person, but really have never been in there. And the consumer know it. They were pretty knowledgeable about it, and they wouldn't go to those classes. They wanted to be with people that have really been in there, and we'll hold mitts for them. We'll train you like you were really preparing for a fight without actually taking any, without contact. We're not really encouraging contact and I think most people that come to our gym are really looking more of as just like a serious workout. Because you can burn up to 1,200 calories during a workout, but not anybody that's really looking to get hit, I would say.
Well, that hurts. It's not really that great to be hit or that fun to be hit, especially when you
Right.
get to be your age or my age.
Yeah.
I'm over that at this point.
I hear that.
Do you feel that, like I asked you before about the other services that you offer there, do you feel that a lot more clients these days are coming in, working out with the trainer, getting a nutritionist, going for massages, going for the chiropractic work, and combining everything together? Do you see a rise in that?
Absolutely. I do see a trend in that. I think that people are understanding that, with this, the whole total wellness is super important to get to heal the body as well, where like Frankel was talking about, with stretching and your nutrition, and align everything with it. Your body is such an interesting machine, and just doing one aspect or one type of training sometimes isn't really what's going to get you there, and you can get, like we talked about in our last show, is how there's all these other fads that come out, and some of these gyms where they're just doing like clean and jerks, and they're doing all this certain type of lifting, but then a little bit later down the road they're finding that they're getting injured. We're trying to set you up so to avoid injury, and then after you break the body down, to actually start helping you on the healing process of that.
Great. Well, it's great to have you, Matteo, and that's Matteo Baker here on this segment of Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live. Give us your info again so we could all hear about your facility.
Thank you. Yeah, it's 220 Fitness in Santa Monica. We're on the corner of Main Street and Pier Avenue. Love to have anybody down there. We're on. You can go to our website at 220fitness.com or Facebook page at 220 Fitness.
That's great. And I'm Andy Harlan again, and thanks for joining us, Matteo.
Thank you. Thank you for having me again. Appreciate
Anytime.
it.